The transfer documents were already signed. Not by me. My digital signature sat at the bottom of the page, clean, verified, time-stamped. 2:13 a.m. I was asleep at 2:13 a.m. I didn't move for a few seconds. Just stared at the screen. Scrolled once. Twice. Checked the access log. Remote login. My credentials. Approved actions. Ownership draft, submitted. Everything had been opened, without me. Behind me, I heard the blender stop. I turned. My son Dylan stood at the kitchen counter, pouring my usual protein shake into a glass. Same routine. Same motion. Like nothing had changed. "You forgot to drink this yesterday," he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. I didn't take the glass. I checked my phone again. Bank app. Security tab. Login history. Same time. Same window. Full access. No alerts triggered. I lifted my eyes slowly and looked at him. He didn't look away. Just held the glass out slightly, waiting. Like this was normal. Like I was expected to follow along. That's when it settled. Not suspicion. Not confusion. Clarity. This wasn't a glitch. This wasn't a mistake. Something had already been taken from me. And he was standing there. Acting like I gave it away. I'm 63. I built my logistics company from nothing. One truck. One rented dock. Now it runs 42 employees and a warehouse on the south side of Chicago. Clean contracts. No debt. Every decision passed through me. 2 months ago, I collapsed at work. Nothing dramatic. No warning. Just a sudden drop in the middle of a call. They said it was exhaustion. Dehydration. Age, maybe. Dylan arrived the same night. "You need help, Dad." He didn't ask. He brought a suitcase. Set it down in the hallway like it belonged there. The next morning, he made breakfast. Answered my phone when it rang. "Just work stuff," he said. "Go sit down." I let him. At first, it felt temporary. Practical. He handled small things, emails, scheduling, supplier calls. He stood behind my chair during meetings, listening, learning. Then he started speaking. "Dad's reviewing this. Dad approves." I didn't always correct him. A week later, he asked for my passwords. Only in case something happens again. He said it casually, like a backup plan. I gave them to him. My lawyer started calling him instead of me. Dylan said, "You're resting." My accountant copied him on every email. Looping Dylan for faster response. I noticed it. Didn't stop it. That was the first shift. Then came the meetings I didn't attend. It was routine, Dylan said. Nothing you needed to worry about. Contracts moved. Numbers changed. Decisions were made. Each time, he explained it the same way. "You're tired." I handled it. I stayed quiet. Not because I agreed. Because I was watching. Emily came more often too. Sat across from me at dinner like she belonged at the head of the table. "You should step back now," she said one night. "It's time." No argument. No hesitation. Just a statement. I looked at Dylan. He didn't react. Just kept eating. Like it had already been decided. That was the official version. I was recovering. He was helping. They were protecting me. Everything was under control. But nothing was coming through me anymore. And the more they explained, the less I was actually involved. The first change was small. We updated the vendor list. Dylan said it while standing at the sink, not even looking at me. I hadn't seen any list. Which vendors? I asked. Old ones were inefficient, he replied. Better rates now. He moved on before I could respond. Conversation closed. That afternoon, 3 delivery confirmations came in. New company names. Same formatting. Same invoice structure. I noticed it. Didn't comment. 2 days later. We renegotiated contracts. He said it over coffee. With who? I asked. Doesn't matter. It's done. He slid a folder toward me. I opened it. My signature was there. Again. Clean. Placed exactly where it should be. But I hadn't signed anything. I looked up. Dylan was watching me carefully this time. Not relaxed. Measured. Waiting. I closed the folder. Good, I said. He nodded once. Satisfied. The third shift wasn't verbal. It was physical. My office key stopped working. I tried it twice before calling him. We changed locks for security, Dylan said. You misplaced yours last week, remember? I hadn't. But he didn't wait for an answer. I'll get you a new one. He never did. That evening, I tried my laptop. Password failed. Twice. Then locked. I called IT directly. They hesitated. We updated your access through Dylan's request. Through Dylan. Not me. I thanked them. Hung up. Didn't react. The fourth came in numbers. 3 invoices. Same amount. Different vendors. Different names. Same total down to the cent. I printed them. Placed them side by side. Looked at the details. Minor differences. Addresses didn't match the regions listed. One phone number had too many digits. I called it. No connection. I tried again. Nothing. I checked the other 2. One rang once, then cut. The last one didn't exist. That night, I didn't go to bed. I stayed in the hallway. Lights off. Door slightly open. They thought I was asleep. Dylan's voice came first. Low. Controlled. He didn't question the contracts. Emily answered. He won't. Not yet. A pause. Then. We need everything signed before month end. He's slower now, she said. We just guide him. Guide him. I stood still. Didn't move. Didn't breathe louder. Then Dylan again. After the transfer, it's done. No hesitation. No doubt. Just certainty. I went back to my room quietly. Closed the door. Sat down. Everything that felt off, shifted. The signatures. The passwords. The meetings. The invoices. It wasn't help. It wasn't temporary. It wasn't concern. It was structure. And I was no longer inside it. That's when I understood. I wasn't losing control. I had already lost it. I started with paper. Not because I had to. Because paper doesn't change. I printed everything I could access. Contracts, invoices, email threads. Dates in the corner. Time stamps under signatures. I laid them across my desk and didn't rush. First pattern. Timing. Documents approved at hours I don't work. 2:13 a.m., 3:47 a.m., 1:58 a.m. Always clean. Always verified. I checked my phone logs. No activity. No alerts. No prompts. Access without friction. I didn't react. I went deeper. Next, emails. I opened the headers. Traced the routing. Same IP range. Internal network. Originating from my office. Not my device. I checked remote sessions. Active logins tied to my credentials. Authorized from inside the building. While I was at home. I sat back for a moment. Then leaned forward again. I moved to transactions. 3 companies tied to the invoices. I searched the registry. All 3 were new. Registered within a 3-week window. Different names. Same mailing address. A shared office space 10 miles from my warehouse. I printed that too. Placed it next to the invoices. Aligned the dates. Formation. Billing. Payment requests. All sequential. No gaps. I drove there the next morning. Didn't tell anyone. The office was real. Reception desk. Glass doors. Directory on the wall. None of the company names were listed. I asked anyway. The receptionist checked her system. No record, she said. I nodded once. Left without another question. Back home, I checked handwriting. One of the forms had a physical signature requirement. Vendor onboarding. I compared it to something else. Emily's grocery list on the counter. Same curves. Same pressure. Same hesitation on the second letter. I didn't confront it. I added it to the stack. Then I opened my medical file. I hadn't looked at it since the collapse. Symptoms listed clearly. Dizziness. Fatigue. Loss of focus. Timeline attached. I followed the dates with my finger. It started the same week Dylan moved in. Consistent. Progressive. No external cause identified. Recommended, rest, hydration, monitoring. I closed the file. Sat still for a few seconds. Then stood up. That night, I didn't eat. I didn't drink anything he prepared. I watched. Measured. Counted. Every movement in the kitchen. Every glass he handed me. Every time Emily reminded me. You forgot this. I started declining. Calmly. Without explanation. The pattern was complete. Access. Control. Replacement. Then pressure. Signatures at night. Fake vendors. Internal routing. Physical access removed. And my condition. Perfectly timed. Not random. Not natural. Managed. I stood in the kitchen later, alone. Looked at the glass he had left for me on the counter. Same shake. Same smell. Same routine. Untouched. For the first time, I didn't question what they were doing. I questioned something else. How far they were willing to go. And whether this ended with paperwork. Or something much quieter. I didn't need more proof. I already had it. The signatures weren't mistakes. The companies weren't real. The access wasn't temporary. And my condition wasn't natural. Everything pointed in one direction. Control first. Ownership next. Then removal. Clean. Quiet. Legal on paper. Final in reality. I stopped asking questions. Stopped reacting. Stopped correcting them. That was the shift. Not emotional. Operational. The next morning, Dylan handed me the same glass. You need to stay consistent, he said. I took it. Held it for a second. Then set it down beside me. Untouched. He noticed. Didn't say anything. Just watched. Measuring. Adjusting. I called my accountant first. Tom. 30 years with me. I didn't explain. Just asked. Who authorized the new vendors? Silence. Then. Dylan sent everything through. Said you approved. I didn't. Another pause. Longer this time. Do you want me to freeze anything? Yes. No hesitation. Quietly. Next call. My lawyer. I didn't mention names. Just facts. Unauthorized signatures. Access misuse. Ownership draft submitted without consent. He didn't interrupt. Didn't ask unnecessary questions. We can reverse structure, he said. But we need control first. I'll handle that, I replied. That afternoon, I went to the bank in person. No appointment. No notice. Face to face. I revoked digital authorizations. Changed verification protocols. Added manual approval on every movement. Nothing moves without me. No exceptions. When I got home, nothing had changed on the surface. Dinner was ready. Emily set the table. Dylan checked his phone. Same routine. Same tone. You look better, she said. I nodded once. Sat down. Didn't eat. They thought I was slowing down. That was their mistake. I wasn't slowing. I was narrowing. That night, I locked my door. First time since he moved in. I reviewed everything again. Then I did something different. I stopped collecting. And started structuring. Accounts. Authority. Ownership. Every weak point they touched. I rebuilt. Quietly. Legally. Completely. By morning, the company wasn't where they left it. It was somewhere else. Out of reach. Out of sequence. Protected. I came into the kitchen. Dylan looked up. We should finalize this week, he said. I met his eyes. Calm. Steady. I agree. He relaxed. Just slightly. Emily smiled. Relief. Expectation. Control. They thought they were close. I poured my own coffee. Didn't touch anything else. Then I looked at him. And for the first time, I wasn't observing anymore. I had already decided. I was going to let them continue. Right up to the moment it stopped working. I didn't rush it. That was the difference. They were moving fast, deadlines, pressure, signatures. I slowed everything down. First, I brought Tom in. Not to the office. To a diner 20 minutes away. No phones on the table. I slid him copies, vendors, timestamps, signatures. He didn't speak for a full minute. Then. This is coordinated. I know. He looked at me carefully. Do they know you know? No. Keep it that way. Next, my lawyer. We met in his office after hours. Lights off in the main hallway. Conference room only. I didn't sit. Just placed the documents in front of him. Unauthorized access. Forgery. Asset redirection. He read everything. Once. Then again. We can build a case, he said. I don't want a case, I replied. I want control. He nodded slowly. Then we set a trap. The investigator came last. Quiet man. Didn't ask unnecessary questions. He installed cameras in 2 places. Kitchen. Office. No wires visible. No signals exposed. Everything local. Everything recorded. I changed one more thing. The documents. The ones Dylan thought I would sign. They were replaced. Same structure. Same layout. Different outcome. Ownership redirected into a controlled board trust. Not to him. Never to him. Clause added. Any criminal activity tied to internal operations. Voids all claims. Immediate. Irreversible. There was risk. Every step. If Dylan checked access logs, he'd see changes. If Emily reviewed the documents, she'd notice differences. If either of them slowed down, they'd catch it. But they didn't. Because they believed I was already behind. I returned home that evening. Same routine. Same tone. Emily at the stove. Dylan at the table. We should finalize tomorrow, he said. I nodded. I'm ready. He smiled. Not wide. Controlled. Confident. The next day, we sat at the table. Documents laid out. Pens aligned. Emily poured the drink. Placed it near my hand. I didn't touch it. Dylan leaned forward. This is the right decision. I picked up the pen. Let it rest between my fingers. Paused just long enough. Then set it down. No. Silence. Immediate. Heavy. Dylan blinked once. What? I didn't repeat it. I reached into my pocket. Placed my phone on the table. Screen already open. I pressed play. Their voices filled the room. Clear. Unfiltered. He's weaker now. We need him to sign this week. After the transfer, it's done. Emily's chair scraped back. Too fast. Dylan didn't move. His eyes locked on the phone. Then on me. Calculation. Failure. Realization. I placed a second folder on the table. He opened it. Hands slower now. Inside. Bank logs. IP traces. Vendor registrations. Handwriting comparison. Lab report. He stopped at the last page. Looked up. No words. The door opened. No knock. 2 officers stepped in. Then a third. Quiet. Professional. Expected. Emily's voice broke first. This isn't what it looks like. No one answered. Dylan stood up slowly. Then stopped. Like he realized there was nowhere to go. One of the officers spoke. Calm. Measured. We're going to need you to come with us. No resistance. No argument. Just the sound of control, leaving the room. I stayed seated. Didn't move. Didn't watch them leave. Only listened. Footsteps. Door. Silence. The glass was still in front of me. Untouched. I pushed it aside. And for the first time, there was nothing left to question. They processed Dylan first. Quietly. No scene. No resistance. Emily followed 10 minutes later. Different car. Same silence. Tom froze the accounts before noon. Every transaction flagged. Every vendor under review. The 3 companies disappeared within days. Inactive. Unreachable. Like they were never meant to last. My lawyer moved fast. Ownership secured. Structure locked. No external access. No shared authority. Everything routed back to one point. Me. I changed the locks that evening. Not just the doors. Systems. Access. People. The office key worked again. My name was back on every approval. Every decision. Every signature. The house felt different. Not empty. Clear. No voices in the kitchen. No routines I didn't control. Just space. And silence that belonged to me. The document they wanted signed still sat on the table. Untouched. Irrelevant. I picked it up once. Looked at the signature line. Then set it aside. They didn't take control from me. They tried to replace me. That was their mistake. Control isn't given. It's held. And once you see someone reaching for it, you don't argue. You remove their hands. What would you have done the moment you saw that signature? Write it in the comments. And if you understand that control is quiet, not loud, subscribe.